Today we're going to do our lesson on histograms. This is lesson 15.3. Click the link that you see at the top of this screen to watch the smooth video on histograms. Alright, you need to copy these definitions into your notebook. A histogram shows the shape of a data set with vertical bars above intervals of values on a number line. You need to make sure that you have titles, ages of water park visitors. Your data set are the values that must be numerical to be graphed on a histogram. And you must also have a scale on your histogram, and it is made up of a number line that is divided into intervals. And you must make sure that your intervals are equal. Right here you have an example of a vertical scale. It's going up the left-hand side or the y-axis. And then you have your number of years, and that is going across the x-axis. And here you also see an example of the bars that organize the data into groups and show the frequencies at which each group of data values occur. All right, let's take a look and work this one out together. You are helping a new social networking website company analyze data. You're going to use this histogram to answer the questions, right? The first question is how many users were surveyed. So it may take you a couple of times to work through this and to look and get your numbers on the bars correct. So right here, I'm going to guess this is about 23. That this one here is about 19. This one's 5. This one's 10. 0, and this one here is 3. So if we add our numbers up, how many users were surveyed? So you should have said that that was about 60 people that were surveyed. Now, of the users that were surveyed, have 150 friends or more. So if you look over here, you're going to count how many are higher than 150. So that should be your answer choices up here are 12. I'll put down here 13. So this is going to be 12. How many of the users surveyed have between 0 and 49 friends? So that's going to be 23. So I may have been one off somewhere right here in my addition, but you get the gist. So you're going to estimate if you need to. Okay, so now we have taken a look at how you count your results across your bars. And here are your answers so that you can check it yourself if you didn't get all that I had before. Now you're going to work this one out in your notebook. Use the histogram to determine how many of the users surveyed have fewer than 100 friends. So go back like we did just a minute ago and find your 100 across your horizontal scale at the bottom, and then add up your bars that are below 100. And look at your answer choices. If you don't get it exactly right, you can estimate and find your best answer. All right, now, use your whiteboard, and if a user has exactly 50 friends, in which interval is the user represented? All right, now this explains how you should have found your answer. If a user has exactly 50 friends, the first interval only includes users with 0 to 49 friends. So the user with exactly 50 friends is represented in the second interval because that one would include numbers 50 to 99. So that's where you should have found your answers there. Now the participants in a ski race are divided into 4 groups of 6 skiers each. The table shows the results of the races. Make a histogram to show how the race times are distributed among all of the participants. All right, so here you can see you have 4 groups and you have your times. Now, if you look carefully, each of these groups are separated here and their times are already listed for you in order from the smallest to largest. So what you need to do then, maybe on a scratch sheet of paper, is you need to then group them into different intervals so that you would have them separated before you try to make your histogram. All right? So if you look right here, set yours up on your paper, and your first interval is going to have numbers that come between 86 and 87, then from 88 to 89, then from 90 to 91, then from 92 to 93, then from 94 to 95, and so on. So when you're done, your histogram should look like this. So you need to double check and make sure that you have the same number of pieces of data in each of your intervals that you see here on this bar graph. All right, now look at this one. Twice a month for a year, scientists measure the temperature at the top of Mount Everest. Make a histogram of this data. So the first thing you should do here is you should take these temperatures and you should order the temps from least All right, once you number your temperatures from least to greatest, then you need to determine what intervals you will use. All right, so the scale that was created here is across the bottom. You have below 40, then to below 34, then below 35 to below 29, to below 31, then below 30 to below 24, and then so on. So if you look over here to the left, you can see how you've got one that is grouped in the below 40 to below 35 group, 4 that are below 35 and 30, 3 that are below 30 and 25, and so on. And then now you have to draw the number line the vertical range of the grid lines for your histogram, and you have to label your axes. Remember that you have to have labels or your graph is not correct. So over here, these numbers here, the bars over here, should match the ones that you see here. So like if you have one that goes up to 40, it should match the one that you have up there at the top in the negative 40 to negative 35 range. All right, the same thing here. Engineers recorded the amount of energy that 300 individual households consumed in one day. What does the histogram show about the amount of energy used? All right, so look at your histogram. Across the bottom, it shows you your kilowatts. Up the side, it tells you the frequency. All right, so then you need to look and see here that from 20 to 29 kilowatts was used by 10 homes, that about 43 homes used between 31 and 39 kilowatts, and so on. It should also be easy to see that the greatest amount of energy came between 50 and 59 kilowatts, and that was used by over 60 households. So what kind of information can a histogram easily show you? And in what types of situations might you want that information? So you need to answer that question on your own. Think about the types of information that we have just shown on the histograms that we have created together. Right now, you need to make sure you do your close and check in your workbook, and then you need to do your digits 15-3 on your computer.